Since Republican Congressman Darrell Issa announced he would not seek re-election in the 49th congressional district, the open seat has been seen as an opportunity for Democrats and a must-win by Republicans. The 49th district covers San Diego's north coastal communities from La Jolla to Camp Pendleton and includes parts of Orange County. In our series of interviews with candidates running for office, KPBS reporter Jade Hindman spoke with Republican Diane Harkey, who was running against Democrat Mike Levin for this seat.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, I'm going to start off. I have to know, why are you running for Congress?
Well, I'm running for Congress kind of to replace the dysfunction in Washington, D.C. I've worked in the legislature. I've also worked on the State Board of Equalization in very, very minority positions because I'm a Republican in a very, very Democrat state. I've been able to make things work and to get things done. I think we need that. I also grew up in California and I love this state. It gave me my opportunity between the community college system and the UC, where I graduated as an adult, worked my way through school. It was just a marvelous experience that I don't think I would have had anywhere else. So I want to be sure that those opportunities are preserved for those that come after us and that those that are around now trying to do the same thing.
And now you live in Orange County. Most of the voters live in San Diego County. They're Democrat. How are you making the appeal to them?
Well, you know, I've served San Diego County for about 10 years. When I was in the legislature, I did the dual counties, Orange and San Diego County. So it was North San Diego County, which we have now, and South Orange County. And on the Board of Equalization, I have served 4.5 counties, of which San Diego is a huge part of that. We did a lot of work in San Diego. There are a lot of taxpayer advocates as well as businesses and individuals that had problems all the time. So we were in San Diego quite a bit. I actually had 3 staff stationed in San Diego.
And so what are some of the key issues that you want to focus on if elected?
Well, I want to focus on job creation and retaining what we've got. The economy is really going strong. We have a fabulous community. This 49th district is really a little hotbed of industry and R&D between biotech, biocom, the life science industry, the military does a lot of R&D, so military contracting, NIH funding, really important to this district. And I think it's so marvelous the new products they're coming up with that they can actually sell out in the market or sell to a major firm and work with the hospitals. They're doing all sorts of research with newborns, and for diseases that were formerly just treatable, they can now find cures.
And where do you stand on health care?
Oh, healthcare is a huge issue. So I want to be sure that we get it right. And I don't think either party right now has it right. I am not for a single payer. I'm not for Medicare for all. Medicare is underfunded. And I don't see sticking more people under Medicare. That's a promise that we've made to seniors. And people wait for Medicare because it's a good program. But that doesn't mean we have to cripple it with adding more. I think we just need to make some revisions. We need to probably beef up some of the ACA where needed in the states that it works. Maybe there is some kind of independence for each state to do what it needs to do. I think crossing state boundaries for insurance coverage and allowing a little more choice in those areas. There's a multitude of things. I'm not a healthcare expert, but I do use healthcare, have raised a family, and I know how important it is.
Now, President Trump recently endorsed you on Twitter.
Yes.
Have you responded to that at all? Have you put that on any of your social media networks? Or?
Oh, we have. Yes, we have. I think that anybody would be foolish not to take a presidential endorsement, and I am very, very proud to have that. The issue is, I've been asked, well, do you want him to come out? Well, probably not. California is not his state. But I think having Obama visit Orange County did more to boost my voter turnout than anything. So I'll just say, it works. It cuts both ways.
Now, on your website, you say DACA recipients should be allowed to stay in the country. But at the same time, you've also said that if Trump wants a wall, let him have his wall. How do you justify spending taxpayer money on President Trump's border wall?
Okay, we have 15 miles of border wall right now, and we're actually reinforcing some more of the areas that are not secured, that the Border Patrol needs to be secured. The Border Patrol can turn into target practice if they're down there patrolling and they don't have the proper security. Now, a wall isn't for the entire border. There's some new, high-tech devices that can be used to monitor. But California has a huge problem with human trafficking, drug running, and money laundering. And anybody that doesn't think that is nuts. And we also have Ponga boats now coming up the coast that are being stopped by our police, and they can't hold them because they can't cooperate with ICE. So these people are escaping out into the neighborhoods. This is not a safe situation. And the UT just had an article on the increase in Ponga boats because they know that's an easy way into the country. So we need a wall for security. We have to have that. We have 22 new lanes in San Ysidro where people can walk, shop, whatever they need to do with the proper documentation. And then we have, a lot of traffic back and forth. The ports are opening up. There's been articles about all of the innovations in technology and whatnot that they're doing to get people through faster and to be sure that it's fast. But we don't want the bad guys here. We do not want to become Cartelifornia, and we have to be sure that we can control that border. And so whatever it takes, if it's a wall, if it's high-tech technology, if it's reinforcing the Border Patrol, adding more positions, whatever it is it takes, but we have to be sure we have security to protect our people.
So the environment, we want to take it to there. So
Sure.
it's a big issue for voters along the coast in the 49th. In a San Diego Union Tribune interview, you were asked whether you believe climate change is caused by humans. And your answer was a bit unclear. So do you think it's caused by humans? Where do you stand on that? Yes or no?
Well, there's humans. There's also natural disasters, volcanoes, other things that can ruin your whole day. So I think that there is probably scientific evidence. I can't say for sure, I'm not a scientist, that climate change is real, it's occurring, and I'm sure it is. But my point is always that I want to be sure that what we're doing is not so draconian that people can't stay here, live, work, and play in the state that I love. And when we're putting such draconian regulations on California and trying to implement them across the nation, when countries like China and India are spewing out much more than we ever could hope to, I really think that we need to kind of reassess and figure out a cost benefit of it. And also, we've done marvelous things. In my lifetime, I've seen wonderful things happen with climate, or not with climate, but with environmental movement. And so I think there's still room, we have a lot of room to grow, but I think we need to be sure people can afford it and can live here, because if they can't feed themselves, if they can't pay for their electricity bills, if they can't have service that they need to live here, they'll either leave or they'll be in poverty, and I don't want to see that.
Another big issue in the area is the San Onofre nuclear waste plant. Any ideas on how we get that moved? Anything viable in your mind?
Well, yes, and it's kind of ongoing. This is a process, It's not going to happen overnight. But what we do need to have is cooperation. We need to have cooperation so that when we need the votes off the congressional floor and need 60 votes out of the Senate, we get there. We need 219 votes in Congress to get anything to the Senate, and then we need 60 votes out of the Senate. So if California is constantly playing resist, and we don't even have our whole delegation on board to get rid of it, we're lacking in cooperation, I think, between the parties, and that's where I think I can help. We can work together to get this done. We need to move San Onofre to the top of the list because it is a decommissioned plant. There are other decommissioned plants. This one happens to be where it is on the coast. I think we could make a case if we could get all 53 of our congresspeople and our 2 senators on board to do some heavy lifting to try to negotiate something across the country.
All right, now I want to go to this. You've accepted money from the National Rifle Association, but would you support any kind of gun regulation on a federal level?
I'm a true believer in the 10th Amendment, which is states' rights. I really do believe that what works in Massachusetts for guns is not going to work in Montana. I think you have to have the states weigh in. I don't support anything on the national level at this point, and I don't own a gun, but I am a strong Second Amendment person, and I don't really want to give up a Second Amendment right. I think, people growing up today would not give away their car keys or their cell phone, but they give up their Second Amendment. And I think it just needs a little rethinking. There's a lot of things we can do to make for maximum safety in schools and other places.
Your opponent, Mike Levin, has accused you of funding your campaign with money from your ex-husband's business, which he was convicted of breaching his fiduciary duty and elder abuse. Is there any truth to that?
Okay, here's the deal. Mike likes to slam me because he can't run on policy. He has never been elected. He's never cast a vote. All he's ever done is pad his own pockets with environmental policies for projects that he lobbies for. So I'm sorry. I have a clear voting record here. I was dismissed with prejudice by the plaintiffs. That means we're sorry, we made a mistake, and we won't do it anymore. So if Mike wants to continue to talk about this, I'm willing to take it on. But he's an attorney. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he just doesn't want to talk about his own record.
And right now, a recent poll has you about 10 points behind Mike Levin. What's the strategy at this point?
Okay, that's not a true poll. They oversampled Democrats hugely. I mean, that is what, New York Times poll? Okay, we did our own analysis, and this is neck and neck, and I'm not happy about that, but it is neck and neck. There is, if you do a sampling where there's more Democrats, tons of more Democrats than actually show up for election, then yeah, you're going to get a great poll, but I don't even think that poll is going out anywhere except in little local news blogs. And of course, Mike's bragging about it. But I know we are neck and neck. We've done our own polling.
All right, Diane Harkey, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and I look forward to representing the 49th, and I will serve you with distinction. Thank you.
Thank you.
For our interview with Harkey's opponent, Mike Levin, and for more of our election coverage, go to kpbs.org/election.